Vid symposiet med titeln Academia's Covid Failures deltog framstående experter och studenter inom medicin, juridik, media och politik. De diskuterade de samhälleliga konsekvenserna av regeringars pandemipolitik, censur och begränsning av yttrandefrihet och alternativa åsikter.
The university experts who convinced government officials to implement their lockdown strategy. Lockdowners got what they wanted. Their policies were implemented throughout the nation in almost every state. Their policies failed to stop the spread. They failed to stop the death.
The university's response to the whole COVID crisis really shows the failures of higher education to engage in critical thought and the way in which they not only ignored science but cracked down on free speech and academic freedom and everything else in pursuit of this crazy ideological agenda of theirs.
When people hear about how academic environments like Stanford failed, people will demand reform. Places like Stanford, like Chicago, like Harvard are very important places for the discussion of controversial ideas. And if places like that fail to allow that to happen, it hurts all of society.
The messaging to us and to the world could not have been more clear. Anyone who speaks up is a threat. They are a menace. They are potentially dangerous, maybe even deadly.
Pandemideltagarna föreslog olika strategier för att återupprätta förtroendet för USAs institutioner och bevara det amerikanska folkets frihet.
A strong declaration from the Supreme Court that these public-private censorship efforts we saw during COVID are unlawful is probably the best thing we can immediately use to ensure a right now to prevent future abuses of the First Amendment.
There's never been a time in human history when the people who were censoring free speech we look back and say, oh, those were the good guys. They're never the good guys.
What is it inside each of us that some part of us causes us to want to allow ourselves to be suppressed at behest of being labeled something that our insecurities make us fear more than the loss of speech itself? That's the real threat to free speech. It's the threat that comes from within.
För att se hela symposiet besök ntd.com.